everyone. Welcome to Crime in Court. This is another episode in the Canton cover up series Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, and we are going to be talking about metadata. This is episode 114. Where's the metadata? And of course, we're talking about the metadata on the Sallyport video from the Canton Police Department. This metadata is crucial in determining if there was any kind of mishandling, corruption, uh, yeah, per, pers, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Tampering, but like intentional tampering with the video, things like that. So this is what the metadata can show us, and the defense has already asked for this. Judge Bev denied it, but it was like a weird, remember there was the February 18th hearing and there were a bunch of motions that were heard and she went denied, 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 denied. Well, she denied the reciprocal or no, she denied this, which was the not that it's she denied the reciprocal discovery request too, but she denied this, which is the forensically sound copy of the video surveillance footage. So they want some kind of, they want the metadata, basically. So let me shrink myself and let's begin. Please hit the like button and let's get started. We are going to go over this reconsideration motion. So they are asking for Judge Bev to reconsider her denial of their first motion, and they have affidavits in support of why. So this is the defendant's motion for reconsideration of portion of February 18th, 2025 court order denying the defendant's motion to compel production of a forensically sound copy of the January 29th, 2022 video surveillance footage in law enforcement custody. Man, that was a long title, but gotta be specific. All right, so now comes the defendant, Karen Reed, and respectfully requests that this court reconsider the portion of its February 18th, 2025 court order denying the defendant's motion to compel production of a forensically sound copy of the January 29th, 2022 video surveillance footage in law enforcement's custody. In denying defendants' request for metadata underlying these critical videos in law enforcement custody, the court indicated that there is no affidavit of an expert or any evidence before the court that the procedure agreed to by skilled counsel for both parties would result in the destruction of metadata. In light of the court's ruling, defendant submits the supplemental affidavit of defense expert Matthew Erickson, which establishes that the procedure proposed by the Commonwealth and ordered by the court will result in the destruction of relevant metadata that is critical to Ms. Reed's defense and is necessary in order to verify the authenticity of any additional Canton Police Department video surveillance footage that are produced in connection with this case. As the court aptly recognized pursuant to Massachusetts Rule of Criminal Procedure, the prosecution shall disclose to the defense all photographs, videos, and audio recordings or other tangible objects in the constructive possession of the Commonwealth, provided it is relevant to the case. The metadata underlying the Canton Police Department Sallyport Garage videos is clearly a relevant, tangible object in the constructive possession of the Commonwealth, which directly bears on the accuracy, authenticity. I don't know why I couldn't think of how to pronounce that for a second. Authenticity and reliability of critical video surveillance evidence in this case. In short, by simply dragging and dropping files from the Canton Police Department video file system to a USB, the relevant metadata necessary to verify the accuracy, authenticity, and information associated within the creation and storage of that information will be destroyed. Basically, the Commonwealth is like, we're just going to click and drag it. And that is not how you preserve data forensically, because that will change the metadata. and you need the original metadata, and that's just not how you do it. And it will destroy the original metadata, apparently. So that's quite a problem. They need that metadata. So moreover, the defense rejects the notion that there was an agreement by all parties regarding the proposed procedure for obtaining the additional Canton Police Department Sallyport videos in the possession of the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth said that they agreed upon how to do it and how to the procedure and how to get these other files to them. But the defense is saying, oh, wait a minute, we reject the notion. We did not have an agreement with the prosecution on how this should have been done. The defense was misinformed regarding the initial conversation with the Commonwealth, i.e., the defense was led to believe that a retired detective's work cloud account or computer may have a copy of one, some, or perhaps none of the videos, and then were later informed by the Commonwealth via email that the device at issue was the Canton Police Department's video file system. So, not the retired police officer's computer. Upon learning of the correct source of the additional Canton Police Department Sallyport footage, i.e., the Canton Police Department file system, the defense immediately objected to the procedure proposed by the Commonwealth. An agreement, by necessity, requires a meeting of the minds by all parties as it relates to all material facts. That did not occur here. Interesting, huh? It is interesting that Hank Brennan continues to be caught in some lies and he just keeps doing it. And there was a hearing, I don't know when this is going to air, either tonight or tomorrow. So on Tuesday of this week, that's either today or yesterday, um the there was a hearing. They argued a bunch of motions. Judge Bev, of course, was in her regular horrible mood, and she decided that she was going to talk down to the attorneys at the very beginning. And then after that, like, the rest was just, hearing as usual. They did not hear the motion to dismiss. They did schedule that for tomorrow. Even though they had wanted more time, they're just going to schedule it tomorrow because Alan Jackson's already in town. He wants to just do it. So that was what they determined. So he's going to be scheduling, or he's going to be, so let me backtrack. So Wednesday, there is a federal oral arguments regarding the the defense's motion. Is it a habeas? It's a habeas corpus brief regarding her double jeopardy. So that's going to be heard at 9, I think 9:30 in the morning in federal court. We will not have audio or video for that, but we will have, after that, she is due back in Norfolk County Superior Court, where she will be in Bev's courtroom again, and they're going to be arguing the motion to dismiss. So that is scheduled for 11. They say that they're going to get through it by the end of the day. We shall see. So, all right. So also, Turtle Boy is back in court Wednesday for his motion to dismiss. So we've got two motions to dismiss this week to have argued, and it's going to be fire, I think. So what else? Let's keep going. All right, so indeed, yesterday at 3:30 p.m. on Friday, February 28th, 2025, after this issue was litigated before the court, the defense received for the first time a report from the Commonwealth dated February 27th, 2025 from Sergeant Paul D. G. Pietro, G. D. G. M. Pietro. That's that's a lot of syllables in your name, buddy. Detailing an after the fact chronology of his purported, I want to highlight that, after the fact chronology of his purported handling of the Canton Police Department video surveillance footage in this case. So this DG and Petro decided that, or was the person supposedly that was in charge of handling the storage and maintenance of the video surveillance footage. And he's retired. And he didn't have a chain of custody, a report, nothing. And now he's doing it after the fact. Just FYI. So, and remember in one of Hank's hearings, he said something about, oh, well, we can't just manufacture things that we don't have. Is that what you want us to do? Sorry, I can't even do like that was even a bad impression of how nasally he is, and I know I can do it. I can do a better impression, but I don't want to because he's annoying. All right, so according to this new report, which was not produced by the Commonwealth until after the hearing on this issue, Sergeant D.G.M. Petro is claiming that he was responsible for downloading all of the video surveillance footage from the Canton Police Department in this case. And that's in an exhibit that they filed here with a report from Sergeant D. I'm going to call him that. According to Sergeant D, he downloaded certain of the videos, including the inverted video, onto what he refers to as the detective drive. That detective drive purports to contain the critical video surveillance footage at issue, which will be presented by both the Commonwealth and the defense at trial. The defendant has a constitutional right to obtain and present evidence relating to the authenticity of this video surveillance, the authenticity of which, as set forth in defendant's motion to compel production of a forensically sound copy of the January 29th video surveillance footage in law enforcement custody, is of critical importance of this case. Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan has been in contact with Sergeant D for months. Oh, really? Really? Hank Brennan has been in contact with Sergeant D.G. and Petro for months, and we're just learning about him now? Like, what? The information should have been relayed to the defense prior to litigating these issues, like long ago. These videos should have been turned over 3 years ago, along with the metadata, and it shouldn't be a fight from the defense to get these things. Hello? Okay, I just wanted to make sure my mic didn't go out. It went out while I was recording another video. All right, so as explained, did I miss I always miss footnotes. Erg. I don't see it. Oh, it's not a footnote. That's why. Sorry. Okay. So, as explained by defense expert and computer IT and mobile device forensic analyst Matthew Erickson, if the Commonwealth has, remember, he's the one that went and tried to get the Canton video and it was no longer on their system. He says if the Commonwealth has an individual simply drag and drop these files onto a USB drive, all associated metadata will be destroyed or otherwise unverifiable. And that is from his affidavit, which we will read. The proper forensic protocol for preserving this critical information and obtaining the relevant data is as follows. A forensic image should be made of the operating system drive as well as additional drives where these video copies may be stored if stored on something other than the operating system drive. The operating system drive is critical in this situation as it will provide key information about the handling, modification, and creation of these video files. So if those files were messed with, metadata, this information that they're asking for, will tell them. Without a forensic image of the operating system drive, all independent and forensically sound verification methods would be impossible to perform. Additionally, any relevant dates that are present in the available metadata would reflect the dates and the most recent copies were created and not the actual dates on which the initial copies of these video files were made. For these forensic drive images, we request that they are uncompressed, unsegmented, and preferably in raw format. So you have to have, you can't change it. Dragging and dropping it is going to change it and destroy the information. So, in light of the information detailed in the supplemental affidavit of defense expert Matthew Erickson and this new report authored by Sergeant D.G. Petro, defendant respectfully requests that this court reconsider the portion of its February 18th order denying defendant's motion to compel production of a forensically sound copy of the January 29th video surveillance footage of law enforcement custody and order the production of this information as is required by Massachusetts Rule 14, and Ms. Reed's constitutional right to present a defense and to confront witnesses against her as guaranteed by the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights, Article 12 and Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution. Absent this court's swift intervention, defendant will suffer irreparable harm. This is an irreparable harm because if the defense is, if the prosecution, sorry, is allowed to drag and drop, or if they've already done it, that metadata is gone. So it's the problem. Here's the supplemental affidavit of defense expert Matthew Erickson in support of defendant's motion for reconsideration. Matthew Erickson, Matthew Erickson, do hereby depose and state that the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. I am a computer IT and mobile forensic analyst at USA Forensics LLC. I was retained as an expert witness by defendant Karen Reed in the above captioned matter for the purpose of analyzing the current DVR configuration and obtaining forensic video surveillance evidence from the Canton Police Department. On December 11th, I traveled from Phoenix, Arizona to Boston, Massachusetts by plane to render expert witness services in the above captioned matter. The purpose of my trip was to allow me to extract surveillance video from the Canton Police Department's ExactVision DVR system in a forensically sound manner which aligns with methods accepted and commonly used in the digital forensic community, as well as review any video footage preserved within the system from January 29th, 2022 between 12 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. I visited the Canton Police Department on December 12th, 2024 to do so. So that was his trip and nothing was available for him to review. After photographing the relevant DVR equipment, I began recording audio and video and then assessed the system. Initially, it appeared to me that there were only 30 days of video history and consequently that the relevant footage had not been preserved. That impression was confirmed when I navigated to the appropriate section of the DVR system where a search by day and time could be performed and ran a search for January 29th, 2022, 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. That search returned 0 results. Based on the size of the drives, the percentage use, and the remaining usage drive space, I concluded that there was mathematically no possible way for the videos from January 29th, 2022 to be present in December of 2024. When I performed this search, unless they were manually saved and or properly preserved via standard forensic protocols, I determined that the relevant activity logs were also gone. So any logs, anything that he could have used to do some kind of evaluating. Sorry, my dog's kicking me, so that went really crooked. Thanks, Hazel. Uh, and no logs were found, no video was found. The way that the CPD technicians extracted the video data from their DVR system is insufficient for forensic purposes and has resulted in the permanent loss of the original video surveillance data. The CPD DVR system, like most, stores videos in a proprietary format. CPD uses the DVR interface to pick and choose which videos to save, and then the data is converted by the system into a playable format. The resulting file is almost always of lesser quality than the original, and because it exists in a different format, the resulting file will not hash verify to the original. As such, forensic experts cannot properly test the authenticity and integrity of the video. So, kind of what they're saying is like each system has their own proprietary format in which they download their videos. So ExecuVision or whatever it's called, it has its own ExecuVision format. So you can't play it in another one. And when they do try to do some kind of interface, it reduces the quality. You lose all that metadata. It sounds like you can't verify the hash values and whatnots. So that's a problem. Due to the Commonwealth's failure to preserve the original surveillance footage, I was unable to extract the DVR system footage from January 29th to obtain relevant footage between 12 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. as previously arranged and agreed upon by all parties. So it was prearranged, it was agreed upon, and when he showed up, they were like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Who are you? Karen Reed? Who?" I am informed that the Commonwealth may have additional video surveillance footage from January 29th, 2022 that is being stored on a separate electronic device or the detective drive or whatever he called it, known as the Canton Police Department's video file system. It is imperative that this additional source of information be preserved and dealt with in a forensically sound manner, it, as it may serve as another source of information relating to the authenticity and integrity of the video surveillance at issue in this case. If the Commonwealth has an individual simply drag and drop, this is what they quoted, these files, if you drag and drop these files onto a USB, all associated metadata will be destroyed or otherwise unverifiable. The proper forensic protocol for preserving this critical information and obtaining the relevant data is as follows, which we already read. So I'm not going to read it again, but basically, they need the raw format or else it's not viable. You can't verify it. It's not usable. So now here is a supplemental affidavit of Elizabeth Little in support of defendant's motion for reconsideration. All right, so I, Elizabeth Little, do hereby depose and state the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. I represent defendant Karen Reed pro hoc vice. The facts set forth in the defendant's motion for reconsideration are true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. Attached hereto as Exhibit A is a true and correct copy of the report from Sergeant D. Giampetro regarding his handling of evidence in this case dating back to 2022. This report was produced to the defense by the Commonwealth on Friday, February 28th, 2025. So they just got it. And they're supposed to be going to trial in less than a month. Based on the new information submitted for this court's consideration, I respectfully request that this court allow defendant's motion for reconsideration of portion of February 18th, 2025 court order denying defendant's motion to compel production of a forensically sound copy of the video surveillance footage. Absent this court's swift intervention, Ms. Reed will suffer irreparable harm. Signed and sworn under the pains of perjury, penalty of perjury, sorry, Elizabeth Little, Esquire. And that was the second day of March. So there you have it. They are trying to get Judge Bev to reconsider the denial of them getting the metadata because it is extremely important The process that they use in order to move or transfer or whatever the files is extremely important because they need to make a forensically sound image of what they're doing, of what they have. And that's not what the CPD is doing. So it's a problem. And if they just go ahead and delete it off the system or move it, do the drag and drop like they said they wanted to do, then they could be damaging that metadata for good. And we don't want that, obviously. And I didn't know that she would deny this in the first place, but here we are. So hopefully, having explained it, laid it out better, maybe she has more information about it, but she doesn't like to go back and reconsider things that she's already ruled on, from what I can tell. So I'm going to say she denies this again, but that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys being here. Please hit that like button also on your way out. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye now.